CQ calling CQ the Old Friends Net. CQ the Old Friends Net. This is WA4LLR, Dave in Burnsville, North Carolina, calling CQ the Old Friends Net. This net meets 3 times weekly, Tuesday and Thursday mornings at 8 a.m., Sunday evenings at 6 p.m. on or about this frequency. This net is carried out in the amplitude modulation mode and the round table format. It's a great place to look for information, parts and pieces, and maybe exchange a rig or two, catering mainly to vintage equipment, but any rig capable of generating an AM signal is welcome. So CQ the Old Friends Net. This is Dave, WA4LLR in Burnsville, standing by for a call.
N4LQ.
WB4ARK.
KF4DRN. WB4NKM.
W4MEC.
Alrighty, so far we have N4LQ, WB4ARK, KF4DRN, WB4NKM, W4MEC. Do we have others? Alrighty, so far that's a light turnout. Maybe everybody's getting ready to go down to the luncheon. But I'll run down the list one more time. N4LQ, WB4ARK, KF4DRN, WB4NKM, and W4MEC. Once again, any other check-in? Alrighty, good enough. Well, good morning to everybody. We've got about 65 degrees, partly cloudy and breezy up here in the eastern jungles of Yancey County. And so far, everybody is sounding good. Greg, you've got a particularly good signal this morning coming up out of New Market, Tennessee. So we'll go ahead and start the ball rolling. I'm running the Babcock, listening on the RX1, and getting a little help from an SB220. So, N4LQ, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, N4LQ. Babcock sounds nice, crisp, easy to copy. Like it. Sounds great. And good morning to Greg, KF4DRN. Not sure I've heard you on this net before, Greg, but it's good to hear you. And I guess you'll give it over to Larry, NKM. Anyway, I'm running the Sun rig this morning, the Sun SDR, live streaming as usual, and trying to get ready for the luncheon down in Spartanburg. I got Gary and K3OS and KZ4B heading this way, and we're going to converge and head down there in one vehicle. So, over to you, buddy. Hope everything's okay down there on the lake. WB4ARK, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WB4ARK. Yes, everything is doing well here. We had 0.22 inches of rain overnight. And it's overcast now with some static crashes. So I don't think we're supposed to get any rain today, but you never know. It looks like it's possible right now. Anyway, everybody's signal sounds very good this morning. Good, crisp, quiet band. Good, crisp signals. And that's about it. We're getting ready to head out for the luncheon. So, over to KF4DRN, WB4ARK.
WB4ARK, KF4DRN. Good morning, everybody. Name's Greg on this end, in case some of y'all don't know. But anyway, first time checking in on this net, and I'm running an old Yaesu FT840 and run 25 watts. And I've got a flat standing wave here. It's a real good match on this frequency anyway, and good to be in here this morning. WB4NKM to take it, KF4DRN.
KF4DRN from WB4NKM. Okay, Greg. Well, good morning to everybody. This is Larry up in Wise, Virginia, where we have about 65 degrees. Dave, the Babcock sounds wonderful up here. And I wrote down Steve's son was sounding likewise. Really good audio. Buddy, you're sounding good here too. Everybody's got a strong signal. And 25 watts, Greg, is doing this thing. Charlie, you blowed me out when you came on, so I got to turn the volume down. That TX1 is awesome. We running the Ranger, usual Viking Ranger 1 here with a little help from Ameritron 811, which has 572Bs in it. Looks like 150 watts carrier. Listening on a Hammerlin HQ170A, and the antenna is a in-fed half wave. So down to you, Charlie, W4MEC, WB4NKM.
Okay, Larry, WB4NKM in the group, W4MEC, real good. Thanks for the compliment on the Apache there, Larry. Found in a drainage ditch in Greer, South Carolina, or receiving on a Heathkit RX-1 Mohawk saved from the garbage dump in Hendersonville. So feeding a dipole antenna to a Heathkit tuner that I actually was mailed to me as a gift. So when the fella didn't need it anymore, many years ago. Let's see here. Over 35, maybe 40 years ago. Anyway, 2040. Anyway, real good. Everybody's booming in here. I got a question for you, Steve, and when you were describing that amplifier that blew up, I thought those things had all kinds of SWR protection, so that was impossible to do. I'd be interested to see or hear why it didn't work. But that it ate up whatever that, what was that? Was it Elmos or something like that, transistor in it. But I thought those things were protected highly, unlike the first solid state finals that were coming out. I remember them being extra sensitive, and open loads or shorted loads would blow things out. But I thought that had been pretty much resolved by now. But apparently not. So, anyway, back to you there, Dave. WA4LLR in the group, W4MEC.
All righty. Great signals all the way around that time. Do we have any other stations that would like to join the old friends? Come now.
K3OS.
All right. Recognizing Gary, K3OS. Were there others? All right, Gary, go ahead and give us a transmission and send it back to me. K3OS, WA4LLR.
Okay, Dave, good morning. WA4LLR in the group from K3OS. A cloudy morning here in the western side of the state. I guess Charlie knows what it's like as well. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I was just trying to get ready so that when we stop here I can drive down to Steve's and meet him and hopefully see some of you guys later on for lunch. So. On the LMAC twins this morning, just running barefoot. So back to you, Dave. WA4LLR, K3OS.
All right, fine business, Gary. Any other station? Okay, K3OS and the old friends, WA4LLR. Well, fine business. Steve, the sun sounds good. I imagine Buddy's on the ART-13. It always sounds great. And Greg, the FT-840's making it just fine up here. Larry, your Ranger always sounds good. I've got to get mine going again. It's sitting over here looking lonely, and I've not cycled around it in 2 or 3 weeks probably, so I better put that high on my list. It and its big brother, the brothers, the Valiant 1 and 2, they've been kind of neglected. And I appreciate the reports on Little Babcock. And Charlie runs a Heathkit rescue. He's got 2 that he's rescued from a fate worse than death. And Gary, the LMAX are doing a good job for you. I've always got a soft spot in my heart for LMAX. Well, let's see real quickly our space weather today. Sunspot counts 192. So far, June has the highest average number since 2001, I believe they said. Average is 200 right now. So, solar flux index 195 and the K is 2.67, so should be pretty good on the upper bands today. A few items from this day in history. On this day, 1944, the Normandy invasion began. Let's see what else is going on this day. On this day, 1982, Israel invaded Lebanon, defeated the PLO. On this day in 1934, the Securities and Exchange Commission was established. On this day, 1925, Chrysler Corporation was incorporated. On this day in 1892, Chicago's elevated loop train began operating, the L train. On this day in 1844, the YMCA was formed in London, and that's about it. So, let's head back around. N4LQ, WA4LLR.
WA4LLR, N4LQ. Okay, so everybody's coming in good this morning. Here I was thinking I don't have much time. I'm going to have to start getting ready for Spartanburg, and then it finally hit me. It was 8 o'clock when we started, so I got all kinds of time. Gary checked in, and I thought, oh no, he's going to back out and stay home. I tell you, getting old is a mess. Well, Charlie, to answer your question, I can't answer it too well. I've had 2 problems with that amplifier. Both have happened on 160, so there's something going on there with 160, but the first time I managed to blow out a capacitor in the output tank or filter. Actually, it's a low-pass filter, and I replaced that myself. And then this time I was on the 80-meter antenna and tried to transmit on 160, and I was actually transmitting into the tuner and then to the antenna, but that apparently was the wrong combination, and it was on sideband of all things, so I hit it with 1500 watts sideband, and that was it. So I opened her up and I tested the LD MOS the best I could, and I can tell that one of them is definitely shot. The other one is questionable. There's 2 LD MOSs, and they cost, depending on where you look, anywhere from $200 to $300 a piece. And they're just little tiny things, you know, about they're about an inch long and about 3/8 of an inch wide, something like that. And they've got these flat plane type connectors on them. They can be unsoldered fairly easily and replaced, but I didn't want to try. Last time I got into working on a solid state amplifier like that, I replaced one of the transistors, and it turned out the other one wasn't quite right, and it blew them both out again, and I said, nah, I am not going through this again, because it's too expensive not to get it right. So I sent it to the expert down in Florida. There's 3 depots that work on these. The brand is RF Kit, and I'm thinking maybe when it gets back here, I may just sell it and maybe get some simple little thing like an 811H or something, and not have to worry about that kind of stuff anymore. It's just it really, I mean, it does everything. It's got all kinds of protection, high SWR, overdrive, all that is built in, and it usually works fine. It'll trip out if you got too high an SWR, but the same for the overdrive. But it does crazy things, like it'll update its firmware over the internet. It's got built-in Wi-Fi. I mean, it takes forever to boot up. It takes about an entire minute to boot up, and my AL82 it's instant on. I turn it on and I can, transmit immediately. So have to wait for that thing to boot up. It's kind of self-defeating anyway. So it'll interface with the radio and follow the frequency. I mean, just on and on and on, but stuff I don't think I really need anyway. Who cares? Over to you, buddy. WB4 ARK, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WB4 ARK. Okay, Steve. Well, with all of those bells and whistles, it seems like it should have limited itself from the get-go when you keyed it the first time. But I always like to start out low power, check my SWR, make sure everything is okay, and then go on up to higher power with a solid-state device like the KWM380. It has full back on it, and it will not transmit. It folds back based on how much SWR there is. So yeah, it's. But I wouldn't want to. Well, it's only 100 watts, so it's not that big a deal. But anyway, so Dave. Be sure to bring your manual with that unit if you have one. I could sure use that. And make a note of any problems that you might be having. Let's see, what else? Well, it still looks like rain. It's cloudy all around, no sun coming through. And so I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to get into rain going down, but if that's the case, that's the case. So we'll deal with it. Greg, I'm in Lake Wiley, South Carolina, which is just about 18 miles from our home in Charlotte, where I grew up. My wife and I grew up in Charlotte, and so that's the situation there. I am running ART13 R390A, feeding a horizontal dipole through a transmatch. And your unit sounds great. It's you've got a good signal into this area. So, well, I guess we'll pass it on. I think that's about all I've got for right now. KF4DRN, WB4ARK.
WB4ARK, KF4DRN. Yeah, good to be in here this morning. Everybody sounded good on my end as well. Good signals in the New Market, Tennessee this morning. anyway, I'll probably make this my last one. I've got to go and babysit my mother for a while. After a while, her daughter will be giving me a call anytime, and I'll have to run. So anyway, I'll say 7-3 with this round, and I'll pass it over to Larry of WB4NKM to take it, KF4DRN.
Okay, Greg, KF4DRN. WB4NKM. Well, 7-3, Steve. Good to hear you on here this morning. Maybe we'll catch you a little later on today. Get back in here. Looks like it's going to rain any time now. I just looked out and the rain hadn't came yet. Steve, I heard Cliff make his last comment when he signed out of the net a while ago that he hopes that he hopes they got plenty of chicken livers on hand down there at the restaurant today. So he may have something there. I hope they don't run out on you guys. Hope you all have a good time down there. And okay on Charlie, being the Heathkit rescuer. That's a good job, Charlie. I've got one of them over here that I've been saving. Cliff gave it to me. I'm going to one of these days go through it. I think it needs new caps and just a general. I have transmitted on it, but it wasn't acting exactly right. Good morning to Gary. Good signal up here into Virginia this morning, Gary. W4MEC, WB4NKM.
Okay, Larry, WB4NKM group, W4MEC. Well, that's unusual weather. I was just looking at the weather radar. They don't show anything over that way towards where Buddy is. I mean, it's clear skies. The sun's blasting through. 66 degrees there. I did see a line of storms southwest of me moving this way, but it ain't here yet, so that's unusual. I guess I'd have to go look at the satellite view and see what's going on with the clouds there, but that's a beautiful day right here, right now. So anyway, okay, interesting on the problem there with the amp there, Steve, and the price of the LD Moss. Is that what it is? I remember you could get those fairly inexpensively. I think about $120 a piece, and a pair of them made a kilowatt amplifier or something. I guess that's a 1500 watt out amp. That's a little different. But I know I got a buddy that built his own amplifier, and he said the hardest part really was getting the copper plate machined. Those first ones were kind of specific. I mean, the spot that chip has to go in when you screw it down, it's got to be in perfect contact with the copper plate, and it's like you can't be out of alignment at all. Like if it's a little bit high or it cracks it, and if it's a little bit low, it's got to be in firm contact with that plate for the heat transfer and to keep it from blowing up. So, but maybe things have changed, but that's odd that went out. I wonder if they can get weak or something like that, like a tube, and then one just gives up the ghost there. But that's probably more of a fluke than anything else. Maybe they'll find something wrong with the SWR circuit and give you a discount. Who knows? Let's see. I'm going to be picking up Carl on the way to lunch today, and we'll be on now that the net's at 8 o'clock. I'll be on time, I think, because going to get Carl and going the back way down to get to the lunch took a little bit longer, and we always got there around noon, so we ought to be there at 11:30 today. And Tom was planning on going, WA4FJQ, but he emailed me and said his daughter came into town, and they're going to visit with her for a while, so he's not going to make the lunch. He says we're going to try next year. next month rather. And that raises a question about next month because it falls on July 4th. So we're going to have to talk about what to do about that at the lunch, whether we're going to have it or make it early, make it late, or skip it. I don't know. We'll see whether it makes any difference, to be honest with you. And I never can remember, and most holidays except Veterans Day are not observed on the day they fall on. And I don't know if Thursday, July 4th is going to be observed, maybe for the fireworks, or if Friday is going to be the day off, or Monday to observe it. If anybody knows the answer to that, I guess if it's not going to be observed on Thursday and everybody off for the day and that get off, that's kind of rare now to find anybody that gets a federal holiday off except banks and schools. And but we might have to figure out what to do about that. So, over to Gary, K3OS in the group, W4MEC.
Okay, Charlie, W4MEC, K3OS. I think the 4th of July is one of those oddball holidays that is celebrated on the day. How various corporations handle the days off or extended weekends. Sometimes, and maybe a Thursday event is maybe they get Thursday, Friday, I don't know. But if it's going to be we'll talk about it. It's going to be Thursday off. Could be a busy day at the Golden Corral. Anyway, everybody's sounding good here. Nice to hear everybody. And it looks kind of threatening here, but the forecast isn't terrible for today. I've got to leave here about 8:45 to get to Steve's, so I probably can do another round. So Dave, up to you. Hope we'll get a chance to see your smiling face this afternoon, along with everybody else. With WA4LLR K3OS.
Okay, Gary, fine business. Quick standby. Do we have any late check-ins coming out? Yes, we got everybody. K3OS and the old friends, WA4LR. 7-3 to you, Greg. Hope your mother is doing okay. And glad you checked in. Hope you'll make a habit of it. Steve, sorry about your solid-state amp woes. I'm a big fan of hollow-state technology and point-to-point wiring. And, buddy, I have the manual loaded along with the KWM2 and power supply. And I'll make a couple of notations about specific things I want you to look at and address. But I also would like for you to just, hook it up, use it, and see if there's something that I didn't mention that needs attention. Let's see what else. I just noticed that next month luncheon is on the 4th, and I don't know for me if that's an issue. Not that I know of. So whatever the group says is cool. I don't have a whole lot more here. I noticed that Elon is going to try again to launch his big rocket, 4th launch of the Starship, and looks like it's gonna, if it's on, unless they have a hold, it looks like that's at about 10 of 9, 8:50, I think, is when it's scheduled to go up. So that should be interesting. I wish him well with that endeavor. So we'll go around again. We can make this a 73 round and give everybody a little extra time to run out the door. So, Steve, here comes N4LQ, WA4LR.
Okay, N4LQ. I wish him well, too. Let's see. The chicken liver situation, I'm bringing the main liver eater with me, KZ4B, and last time I was able to get out of my truck before he did and get in line first, and that took care of that, and I made it to the liver pot before he did. I didn't even go to the room. I grabbed the plate and went straight for the chicken livers, And of course he was right behind me, and he got what was left. Now this time I think he's wise to me, and I may have to sabotage his seat belt so he can't get it loose, and get him trapped in the truck there for a while, at least get him confused enough that I can get ahead of him. I don't know, but anyway, on the heatsink situation, RF Kit did have a problem initially with the heatsinks not being machined smooth enough, and they redid that, and then they also came out with a aluminum block that sits on top of the LD MOS transistor, and the bolts that hold the LD MOS down were made longer so that they'll go through the block on each end and then down through the holes on the LD MOS. So what you do is you get it all bolted down, and that aluminum block holds it down tight, and then you solder the leads. And the first thing I did was check the bolts, and one of them was kind of loose, and that's not good. So that could have been the problem, and I suspect one of them had been changed in the past, but I'm not sure. But anyway, that's just more water over the bridge. I don't know. It's got a computer in it that's called a Raspberry Pi. That is a very popular little computer to play with, the experimenters use, and that's what's running it. So when it boots up, you got all these raspberries that show up on the screen. It's got a touch screen. It's just on and on. There's a lot to go bad, and that's one of the things that worries me about these new cars is the touch screens. That controls everything in these new cars, and they brag about, how many features they have, but look out. That's all I can say. So let's see, July 4th doesn't bother me a bit. I don't usually during the day there's nothing going on anyway. And and like Gary said, I believe most businesses either close on Friday or Monday, or they give you a floating holiday that you can use anytime you want. So if they give you any holiday at all, so it doesn't matter to me. I'll just be there and get some chicken livers. Independence Day will be fine as long as we're not invaded by UFOs again. WB4ARK, N4LQ.
N4LQ, WB4ARK. Well, I would wonder if the transistor that you checked that's definitely bad is the same one that screw holds down. That would be an interesting thing to note, and I would ask the troubleshooting group to give a thorough synopsis of what they find to be wrong, if they find anything. That would maybe be helpful in the future. Well, guess what? The sun is trying to peek through, and the sky looks like it's trying to clear in the west. So maybe you're right, Charlie. Maybe this is trying to clear out of here. We shall see. I guess I'll say 73, and it looks like Greg has left, so it'll go over to WB4 NRM, I think. So we'll just let it go at that, and if WB4NRM is it, then take it away. This is WB4ARK, and thanks, Dave, for doing the net. Over.
WB4ARK from WB4NKM. Okay, buddy. Call was in KM, but close enough. I know who you were meaning. Pick it up. And you took a little fade on me, but copied you 100%. And there's a sideband station, a couple of them coming in. Maybe up my way. I'm not sure if you're all hearing them or not, but I heard them underneath Steve's signal also. So the band's stretching out and probably changing. I watched the rocket yesterday, just lucked up on it, got in there before they launched. I think I was 4 minutes until liftoff. It was a man and a woman. They launched. It was a Saturn V or something. It was from the Cape, but I don't remember exactly who did it. I know it was run by NASA, but they're docking with the space station pretty soon. Everything went okay, and it was pretty interesting to watch. Hope everybody has a safe trip down to Spartanburg today, and has a good meeting and safe way on back. Well, enjoyed it this morning and try to do it again. It works out okay. I hit the early the net with the over the hill gang, and then was able to make this one too, so no problem. And say 73s, and we're going to get out of here and don't know what we'll get into. It looks like it's fixing to rain. So let's see, W4MEC to take it, WB4NKM, clear.
Very good, Larry. We'll talk to you on Sunday. W4N, hopefully, WB4NKM in the group, W4MEC. All right, fellas. Well, yes, Steve, cars and touch screens and all that stuff. Every time you touch something on touch screen, you're telling something to turn on or turn off. So no more rotary switches or push buttons that click. But it amazes me how that the technology in a car hadn't advanced to something like avionics in a plane, you know. I mean, planes and helicopters have had reliable avionics for years, and helicopters beat the crud out of anything inside of them. Amazingly, how many things from a helicopter service come with loose screws and things like that. But you would think that cars would advance to where they'd have like a little rack or something under behind the dash with all plug-in boards, so that if something went bad, you could go to Amazon, buy a replacement board, and plug it in. But I guess they want to preserve their repair income. But to make them as complicated as they are now and not modular, where it would be an easy fix, has got to be related to preserving their uniqueness and giving somebody, a school to go to and add 4 or 5 hours to the repair bill because they're upside down in the front seat under the dash for working on something. But anyway, so I'm sticking with my old vehicles here, and my newest vehicle is 22 years old this year. So. And my oldest is, what's my oldest? My motorcycle, my Harley Davidson motorcycle, 1977. And I bought brand new in 1977 and still putting along the highway here. Of course, I don't make any long trips anymore, just about all we do is take a loop up through the Parkway, get up on there at Asheville, or go down to Brevard and get up that way and just make that loop on the Parkway and come home. So it's a nice ride in nice weather. But anyway, we'll keep them running until they make me get rid of them, and I'll be shooting some people when it gets to that point. So 7-3 all. We'll see some of you at the lunch, and y'all have a good rest of the day here. If it rains, stay dry. K3OS in the group, W4MEC.
W4MEC, K3OS. Okay, I want to say 73s, and get ready. I'm going to jump in the car, and I'll see you guys a little bit later. WA4LLR, K3OS. Everybody have a great day.
All righty then. Does anyone have a final comment before we close? Come now. Nothing heard. Well, gentlemen, thank you for being here this morning. Everybody was sounding good. Be careful and pray that the Lord blesses all of us as we travel. We'll look for you on Sunday, Lord willing. So 7-3, God bless, and hope to see a lot of you down at the Golden Corral. This is Dave, WA4LLR in Burnsville, North Carolina, closing this session of the Old Friends Net, returning the frequency to abnormal use. 7-3.